It's going to end.
What are you going to
Believe
say
me, it's going to end.
What are you going to say to Democratic voters if you get to the general election? Democrats, what are you going to say to them?
Well, one of the things we're going to do,
So you win a place
yeah,
like New York.
let me tell you about the Democratic voters, as you say. It's actually the Democrat voters. And I will tell you, one of the things we're going to do is we are going to get so many Democrats. That's already been proven. So many Democrats have come and signed registration forms for the primaries where they're voting for me. They left. They said they've never done this in their lives. You know, they had an expression, Democrats for Reagan, years ago. We're going to have Democrats for Trump, but it's going to be much bigger. We're going to get tremendous numbers of Democrats. I have people in Hollywood, friends of mine, saying, you know, everybody out there is voting for you, but they're not going to admit it. I say, why? Aren't you proud? No, because I have a tough stance on crime. I have a tough stance on borders. They all know I'm right, but they're liberal people. They don't want to admit it, but you know what? They're going to vote for Trump.
Has recently acknowledged that this could come down to the convention. If this does come down to a convention fight, what's your campaign doing? What are you doing to
Well, I think we'll do it without a convention. I hope we're going to do it without going down into the convention, without having a fight. But I do feel, and I said it strongly, whoever has the most delegates at the end of this trip should win.
What are you doing to prepare for the possibility?
Well, I'll prepare, but I'm hoping to prepare. We're going to have I think, look, Ohio should be great for me because they're losing tremendous numbers of jobs. You've seen what's happened with the coal industry in Ohio. I think I'll beat John Kasich, yeah. I mean, John Kasich has been an absentee governor. He's been an absentee. He's been campaigning for he lived in New Hampshire. In fact, Chris Christie said that absolutely John Kasich was there much more than him, which is true. And John Kasich then went, as you know, to other states, to different states, very big in South Carolina. He was there. He didn't win. Didn't win in New Hampshire, right? Didn't win in Michigan. He guaranteed Michigan. He said, I will win Michigan. And I thought he said, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought he said if I don't win Michigan, I'd drop out because Michigan's his neighboring state. And I won Michigan in a landslide. And he was living there. So John has been, you know, not really there. And John's got some innate problems. He's very much in favor of Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP. That will be the destruction of Ohio. And now that the oil is down, you know, Ohio got lucky because they struck oil. And the budget of Ohio went up more than any budget in the entire United States, higher than any budget. But they got lucky because oil was under their ground, as opposed to some states where they don't have the oil. Now that the prices of oil are down, Ohio's going to have a lot of problems. Okay, maybe one more, two more. Go ahead.
Just to be clear, you're not going to be in Salt Lake City on March 21st for this next debate?
I didn't know there was a next debate. I thought we had our next debate last night. No?
They've
They have yet another.
they've
Look,
scheduled
this has
one
been a
for
ratings bonanza. And I would do debates, frankly, if the networks agreed to give all of the money to the, let's say, to the wounded warriors or to the veterans. But the networks are making a fortune on these debates. The ratings for the debates are through the roof. But you know what? Can I be honest with you? I think it's time to end the debates. No, I didn't know about a debate in Salt Lake City. Yeah.
Earlier, just to clarify, you said that you've been hearing mostly from Republicans like Paul Ryan, but have you personally reached out to anybody in the Republican Party, and do you think that's something...
Well, I'd rather not say, but I've been hearing from virtually everybody in the Republican Party, and they're congratulating me, and they're saying we're going to get together. They want to embrace it. Look, these are not stupid people. These are very smart people. They want to embrace it. What are they going to do, take millions of these voters? Do you know that if you look at the polls, and people are telling me this every time, when I went to Nevada, which we won, and I went to, you know, all of them, the people that work in the polling areas, they've been there for 20, 25 years. They love it. You know, they do it. They're political people. Every single time I go, they say, Mr. Trump, we've never seen anything like this. You go to Nevada, they'd say, we'd stand here and the place would be empty all morning long, and now you'd have lines that are 5 blocks long. It's really been an amazing thing. Yes, ma'am, go ahead. Absolutely.
So last night on the debate stage, you said that trade is one of the areas on which you
Right.
diverge from the Republican
Right.
Party.
Very,
You've been
very much so.
discussing this a lot in the context of Ohio. So how would you say you differ on trade from Hillary Clinton?
Well, Hillary's terrible on trade. First of all, she has no business instinct. She doesn't have the energy or the strength to get the right trade deals made. Let me tell you, you need strength, you need stamina, you need a lot to get these deals done. They come at you in waves. And to do these deals where they wrap them up and they put 12 countries in one, TPP as an example, I want individual trade deals with individual countries. Some deals we'll make that will be so good. Some countries treat us better than others. Some are worse. China will take advantage of TPP. It's not in it now, but believe me, they will come through the back door. They're watching it so closely. I have so many friends in China. I have great respect for China. I'm not angry at China. I'm angry at our people. We have a trade deficit with China this year, $500 billion. It's unsustainable. You know, we're going to change our trade deals. We're going to make great deals. We're going to become a rich nation again. We cannot become a great nation until we become rich again. You know, we can't afford Social Security. We can't afford anything. I'm going to save Social Security. There are so many things we can do. It's going to go quickly, too. Okay, yes.
A quick question for Dr. Carson just about your decision to endorse Mr. Trump over Senator Cruz. You did indicate earlier in the week that you were open to endorsing one of the two. So why not Senator Cruz?
Well, first of all, we had a lot of excellent candidates. I think any of the 17 candidates who were running could have done a fine job. But one of the real factors for me is what will happen if we allow the political operatives to succeed in their endeavor to stop Donald Trump. I think it would fracture the party irreparably, and it would hand the election to the Democrats. And they would get 2 to 4 Supreme Court picks, and America would be forever changed. And that's the big picture. It's a very big picture. It's not about me. It's not about Mr. Trump. It's about America.
Why not Senator Cruz, ultimately?
Because I feel that Mr. Trump is willing to do what needs to be done to break the stranglehold of special interest groups and the political class.
Are there any remaining hard feelings towards Senator Cruz over what happened in Iowa?
I've completely forgiven him. That's a duty one has as a Christian.
Dr. Carson, you said throughout your life God has led you to your most important decisions. This truly is an important decision. Did God lead you to Donald Trump?
I prayed about it a lot, and I got a lot of indications, people calling me that I haven't talked to for a long time saying, I had this dream about you and Donald Trump. I mean, it's just an amazing thing. But, you know, I also tend to think that the way God speaks to you is by giving you wisdom. And that wisdom says to me that if we allow this attempt to disrupt the will of the people to be successful, it will fracture the party in an irreparable way. And that will hand the election to people who I personally believe would destroy our country. And the reason I say that is because, you know, Hillary Clinton was a great friend of Saul Alinsky. She was on a first-name basis with him when she was a student. Saul Alinsky wrote the book Rules for Radicals. And if you haven't read it, I recommend that you read it and see the kinds of things that are recommended to change, fundamentally change this nation from the great success that we have to a socialist country. And the dedication page of that book says, dedicated to Lucifer, the original radical who gained his own kingdom. I don't want anything to do with anything like that.
Dr. Carson, you talked about burying the hatchet. Did you have any kind of conversation with Mr. Trump like that with Senator Ted Cruz, and did he ask you for your endorsement?
He did not specifically ask for an endorsement, but he did apologize, said that, you know, he wasn't really aware of what was going on. He didn't agree with it.
Why Mr. Trump over Ted Cruz?
Dr. Carson, you said just a week ago today at CPAC that you were endorsing We the People, and it sounds as if in that intervening time between then and now you've evolved, and the central focus, what I hear you saying is the effort to stop Donald Trump is what motivated you to endorse him. Is it Donald Trump's qualities for the presidency or this movement against him that puts you where you are right now?
It's about we the people. We need to empower the people. That is not going to be done through politics as usual, be that Republican politics as usual or be that Democrat politics as usual. It requires somebody who's a bit of an iconoclast, but someone who has the ability to listen and to make wise decisions.
Dr. Carson, do you think that, going back to what Mr. Trump said about embracing these people, you had a lot of evangelicals come out to a lot of rallies in Dayton when you were there, when I was there. Do you think that that people will be representative of the American people, and do you think you can help bridge the gap with those evangelicals as well as with people of color now that you're endorsing Mr. Trump?
Well, you know, I hope that we can bridge the gap with everybody. All the policies that I have ever talked about, and Mr. Trump is going to be on board with this too, we talk about things that are good for everybody, not for this group or that group. The whole concept of picking and choosing winners and losers is something that I think is antithetical to what we believe, don't you? And you know, that simply would not happen with the Trump administration. We would be looking at ways to do things that benefit all Americans, that create an equal playing field, equality of opportunity. That's what we're looking for. And that doesn't mean that we're not sensitive to people who are downtrodden. In fact, we're very sensitive to people who are downtrodden. And we'll be putting in place things that will allow those people to ascend. Many people have been placed in a position of dependency for generations. They don't even recognize what's going on. We have to change that.
Carson, do you see
Over of Latin American countries, what are you doing to reverse that situation? We are fighting in the Middle East, but they are now in our neighborhood. What we are doing to reverse the China influence and Russia influence in our neighborhood?
Well, I'll let Mr. Trump answer that question. Yeah.
Dr. Carson, do you see a future for yourself in politics? And even if there were no promises made as part of this endorsement, would you be interested in serving in a potential Trump administration?
Well, I'm interested in saving America. My concern is our posterity, all the people who are coming after us. And we are destroying any possibility of the American dream for them with the policies that we're doing. So I would be very interested in helping to achieve the goal of saving America and making it great. Absolutely.
Dr. Carson, you talk about two Donald Trumps.
Oh, Catherine, I didn't notice that was you.
Nice to see you. You talk about two Donald Trumps, the one we see in public, the one we see in private. Does that worry you for the American voters? Should the voters know that second Donald Trump, and then as that relates to you, you and Mr. Trump have sparred on a number of issues, whether it's Muslim database, whether it's religion. Are we now seeing a second Dr. Carson with this endorsement?
I don't think so. But my point being that there's a different persona. Some people have gotten the impression that Donald Trump is, you know, this person who is not malleable, who does not have the ability to listen and to take information in and to make wise decisions. And that's not true. Now, you might get that impression from, you know, looking at debates and looking at some of the public appearances, but he's much more cerebral than that and a much more reasonable person than comes across. But as you well know, because you've heard me talk about it a lot, you know, the media, they're very skillful at painting people certain ways. And it may not be who that person is at all. And that person can spend all of their time trying to change the media, or they can just move ahead. And I think he's decided he's just going to move ahead and focus the attention on the American people, not so much on the media. I think that's the right way to do it.
Will you be campaigning with Mr. Trump? Will you be hitting the campaign trail with him?
We will do some campaigning together, absolutely.
And you said you would be interested in
And the last question?
in being a part of a potential Donald Trump administration. Have you been promised a running mate slot or a VP slot in exchange for this endorsement?
We have not talked specifically about a role other than you know, being involved in helping formulate policies and trying to make America great. That's the real key. And as was said by many, it is great, but it is nowhere near as great as it can be. And a lot of the things that are in place and that have been in place and growing over the last few decades have led us to a place of incredible stagnation. We don't need to be there. And if we once again begin to embrace those policies that will create the atmosphere for entrepreneurial risk-taking and capital investment, you will see an explosion like nothing you've ever seen before. We simply haven't been doing that. I don't think it's going to be that hard. And I don't think Mr. Trump thinks it's going to be that hard either.
So thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Great honor. And go outside. We have coffee and drinks. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you.